Political reporter Charles Benson talked with NBC's Chuck Todd about the war in Ukraine as that continues to escalate and the rise in gas prices that are hitting our wallets here in Wisconsin.
An alarming escalation in Ukraine as Russian forces attack a nuclear plant and rising gas prices. Let's talk with NBC's Chuck Todd, moderator of Meet the Press. And Chuck, the American ambassador to the United Nations, a Wisconsin graduate, says the world narrowly averted a nuclear catastrophe with this latest attack. I guess the question for you, as each hour grows more ominous, is there any thought that anything can be done to stop Putin?
Well, I think the question is, there are other things that can stop Putin. The question is, are there things that can stop Putin that doesn't trigger World War III? Now, you talk to Ukrainian politicians, and they're arguing it's already here. This is not an attack on Ukraine. This is an attack on the West. This is an attack on Europe. I do think, Charles, that every week that goes by, that this tragedy is unfolding, that you have Ukrainians holding up and resisting, but struggling, but they're still resisting, right? They're not folding. I think that has stiffened the spine of what we've seen this week. And so, I think you have to almost take this day by day. I mean, if the Russians attack another nuclear power plant, at what point is that not a threat to the European continent? And European countries that are members of NATO may say, you know what? We gotta stop this, because a nuclear power plant that blows up in Ukraine knows no borders. That isn't going to stay within the border of Ukraine. That isn't going to just seep over the Russian border. That's going to make its way all across the European continent.
As you know, the war in Ukraine and inflation are pushing gas prices up. Here in Wisconsin, we could see $4 a gallon sometime soon. Tuesday night, the president tried to convince the American people, saying, quote, "We're going to be okay." But Republicans keep saying this is the reason why Biden should not have killed the XL pipeline. Has that equation changed as a result of what we've seen the past few days?
Well, I'll tell you this, Charles. There is a lot of, here's what you have. You have Joe Manchin, first guy threw down the gauntlet and said, hey, let's shut down, let's ban all Russian oil and gas imports in the United States. All of it, period. Shut them out. Do a full embargo. And let's start having an all of the above energy policy. Pursue wind, pursue solar, but more fracking and more drilling. And there are going to be more Democrats on board that. And with a war going on in Europe that is having an impact on energy prices, there's going to be a growing segment, not a majority of congressional Democrats, but those in some tough races who are worried about the economic impact on their own elections, and I think they're going to be supportive of this too. I think this is a developing political situation here in Washington, and the White House is trying to beat back the embargo talk, trying to assuage folks a little bit here. I wonder if congressional Democrats and the fact that they're on the ballot in November, I think they're going to end up forcing the White House's hand on this a little bit.
We'll look forward to more of what you see and hear on Sunday. You can watch Chuck Todd on Meet the Press this Sunday right here on TMJ4. Thanks, Chuck.